The neighbor screamed for help outside the door, but the woman inside paid no attention at all. She calmly continued doing her housework. Moments later, a masked killer appeared and brutally murdered the neighbor. With every stab, the neighbor's body slammed hard against the door from the impact. Yet despite all the noise, the woman inside never turned around to check. The killer was instantly confused. He clenched his fist and smashed the glass several times with force. But once again, he was completely ignored. Trying to regain a sense of control, the killer quickly dealt with the body, then quietly pushed the door open and slipped inside. At this moment, the woman was still writing, completely unaware that a man holding a deadly weapon was standing behind her. Luckily, at a critical moment, a video call from her best friend saved her. It turned out the woman was deaf and mute. She normally communicated with others only through sign language. That was why she never heard the neighbor calling for help. But that was not the main problem. The real danger was that the killer had already chosen her as his next target. While the woman was chatting, the killer quietly stole her phone. After the call ended, it was time to feed her cat. But she searched every room and found nothing. Unable to call out, she had no choice but to leave the door open for the cat, hoping it would come back on its own after playing outside. After that, she picked up her laptop and returned to work. But soon a message popped up on the screen, and it immediately made her realize something was wrong. The sender was her own phone. When she opened it, she saw several photos that had been secretly taken of her. Terrified, she quickly looked toward the front door. Only then did she see the killer holding her phone, staring at her with a smug expression. Fortunately, she reacted fast and rushed forward to lock the door, avoiding a tragedy by a narrow margin. The killer was not flustered at all. Instead, he picked up a crossbow and searched for another way in. Without her phone, the woman could only try to contact the police through her computer. But the killer seemed to anticipate this. He destroyed the house's power box first, instantly cutting off her chance to call for help. Then he carved a deep scratch into the glass with his knife, as if to tell her she was going to die tonight. Even worse, he slashed all of her car tires one by one right in front of her, completely trapping his prey inside the house. Left with no other option, the woman tried to communicate with him. She pulled out a lipstick from her bag and wrote several lines on the glass. Using the light from a flashlight, she successfully lured the killer over. The message roughly said, "I did not see your face. If you leave now, I promise I will not tell anyone about tonight." But to her shock, the killer suddenly stood up after reading it, then removed his mask right in front of her. Everyone knows that once a killer shows his face, it means he has no intention of letting his victim live. Of course, the killer was in no rush to go inside. He wanted to wait, waiting for her mental defenses to slowly collapse. That was what made the game more enjoyable to him. But the woman had no intention of giving up. She found two useful weapons in the kitchen, a knife and a hammer. Then she retreated into a bedroom, blocking the only door. That way, as long as she guarded the windows, she still had a chance. But the killer once again anticipated her move. He used the neighbor's corpse like a puppet, banging it repeatedly against the glass, as if to tell her that this would be her fate as well. Just as the woman was on the verge of breaking down, she suddenly remembered that the neighbor always kept a phone in his pocket, and the neighbor's body was right outside the window. If she could distract the killer, she might still have a chance to call the police. She quietly took her car keys out of her bag and pressed the alarm button. The plan worked perfectly. Hearing the sound, the killer quickly walked toward the car. The woman seized the opportunity and moved around to the back, trying to reach the neighbor's phone. But the killer caught her in the act when he returned. The two immediately engaged in a brutal struggle, but in terms of strength, the woman was no match for him, as the window was about to be forced open. In desperation, she grabbed the hammer from the ground. One powerful swing ended the killer. Using the brief opening, she rushed up to the second floor. After making sure the area was clear, she climbed out through a window onto the roof. Then she turned on her flashlight and threw it deep into the woods. Using this diversion, the killer was quickly drawn toward the distant light. Seeing the plan succeed, the woman stood up and ran in the opposite direction. But just as she carefully felt her way toward the ladder, a crossbow bolt struck her thigh.